Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is the Narcissistic Resistance, and this resistance video is a sponsored video sponsored by Treasure Travel for Miri. And here's Miri's story. Hello, Ollie. I was unable to contribute at this time, but I am desperate. Please call me Miri. I am currently unemployed, and I hope to remedy this situation ASAP. I will make this as short as possible as I know your time is valuable. I value your work very much, and I feel like a shitbag for not being able to contribute right now. When I was a little kid, I would scream every 15 minutes for no reason. Like I'd be coloring with crayons happily and let out a scream from nowhere. My parentage is that of my father being of the silent generation, or I refer it to as the greatest generation because he was a World War II veteran. My mother is a baby boomer, but I don't think she is a narcissist. She's kind and supportive and has been my entire life. I'm on the cusp of Gen X and Millennial, and I have no idea what category I fall into. I was born in 1982 when my father was 58 and my mother was 28. A 30-year age difference. My father was my mother's French teacher in college, and they fell in love. After 15 years of marriage, my dad brought home a homeless man. He recognized this man because he was friends with one of his sons, my much older half-brother from a previous marriage. Because this homeless man was about the same age as my mother, she fell for him hard and drove a wedge between my parents' marriage. First, your mother falls for somebody who's 30 years older than her, and then she falls for a homeless guy? Really? You don't see some issues there? Your father was her French teacher, so he's in a position of authority over her. They divorced and my mother married this alcoholic bum. You can use his real name, Lauren France Chambliss. How is she kind and supportive your entire life? She leaves your father, I understand, for a homeless guy. A homeless alcoholic? At first, I was excited because then I could pretend I had a dad that was the same age as my peer's dad. I was always embarrassed about my dad because everyone thought he was my granddad. Lauren was a crazy abusive alcoholic, mostly mentally and emotionally abusive, but sometimes sexually and physically. I don't remember most of the abuse, even though it happened every day. How is your mother supportive? Again, how is your mother supportive? She takes her young daughter and moves her in with a crazy homeless alcoholic guy? The events that stand out in my memory when he told me to take off my bra so he can rub my back. He liked to rub my feet, and over about a year, he'd go up my leg gradually over the months and was massaging my inner thighs by the end of that year. One time I woke up with him half on top of me, massaging my breast in his sleep. I hardly had any breasts at all. During these massage sessions, he forced me to watch Rocky Horror Picture Show or Pirates of Penzance over and over every week for my education. I hate those movies. He screamed at me for falling asleep during these movies and there was sleep deprivation. The most sickening movie I had to watch as a child was Pink Floyd's The Wall. It made me feel sick inside and I wanted to cry. When I got older, I kept a journal, and he caught me writing in it one afternoon while my mom was at work. I was writing about what an asshole he was. He came in and demanded to read what I wrote. I'm thinking your mother was molested as a child. That's why she went for an older man, and then she went for another homeless guy who's obviously another molester. Your mother trying to make you relive her childhood. He cornered me on the floor while I was sitting on my notebook, yelling in my face, trying to pull it out from under me. He was too drunk to succeed. He left my room calling me a selfish bitch. Where's your mother when all this is happening? He rearranged my room after I found furniture placement that I liked with my bed coming out from the corner, and I thought it was cool. I'd come home from school and find it right back where it had been before. I came back from a weekend at my dad's once, and he was sleeping in my bed with liquor vomit all over my floor. Lauren would scream and cuss at us. I'd yell back, and my mother would tell me not to be rude. Seriously? So your mother would tell you not. Your mother's going through all this, okay? But you're telling me your mother's been kind and supportive your entire life. When are you going to face reality here, Miri? I hated him so much, even though... And did you ever tell your father this is going on? Or were you still too embarrassed by his age? I hated him so much, even though Lauren has been long gone now. My mom has divorced him. I still feel histrionics within myself that I learned from him. I thought that was the way to be because for so long I tried to please him to keep the peace. The histrionics would come out in other places like school. I'd bang my head on the locker if I couldn't get it open and people would laugh. If it wasn't me, I probably would have thought it funny too. I was taught to suppress my emotions he implanted in me. Worthlessness, being a bitch, a slut, I was a virgin, and he never amounted to anything. He said, I'm just like my stupid bitch mother that would never amount to anything, which was hilarious because she supported him. As an adult, keeping employment has been extremely difficult for me because of the customer is always right rule. I couldn't stand it. If any customer got testy with me, even after I bent over backwards for them, I just say, well, go somewhere else, or simply, why don't you just fuck off? I'd been written up at almost every job I've had. My thinking is, why can't people just have a heart? Why can't they see I'm just trying my best while I'm dying on the inside? I do strange things I don't talk about. Like when I feel like I'm about to explode from shit like that, I'll go into my closet and chew my arms until the skin breaks. If the house is a mess, I throw everything away or burn it because I don't get help cleaning the house. Wow. Yeah, you need to get this under control. I have 3 children, all teenagers. I never got child support, but despite this, I finished a bachelor's in English and modern languages. If I had gotten child support, I wouldn't be drowning in student loans. When my histrionics occur, my mom takes the kids so they don't have to see it. I've tried when your kids have to escape your histrionics, understand something, okay? Your histrionics get you nowhere. Your histrionics get you isolated, get you the crazy label, and you could stop them at any time you want. Your histrionics are over anger, over your entitlement of not getting your way. I think your histrionics started in school as a cry for help to let people know you were being molested. And I think maybe that's what you're still trying to do. Maybe even trying to get your mother's attention. This supportive mother. Why? Because she gets your kids out of the way so you can burn your own shit and tear apart your house. You're saying you're getting no child support. So this is stuff you've all paid for yourself and worked for yourself, and then you go and destroy it. And destroy your children's childhoods at the same time. I've tried my best to keep my histrionics bottled up until my mom can take the kids. One time I lost it and said a flood was coming, and I tried to start a fire on the roof to survive and tried to strangle myself with a scarf. If that's what you're doing, you need to be in an institute. Then you need to be in inpatient somewhere. Because if you're starting fires, if you're legitimately starting fires, because there's one or two things. Either you are too dangerous to be out on your own, or you're saying you want people to think you're starting fires just for the histrionic show. Either way, you're destroying everybody around you. My logical brain knows this behavior is not acceptable, but it's like this crazy lady comes out and all I can do is witness what she does. I try so hard to keep that crazy lady from introducing herself to other people. But after so much effort in hiding her, she busts out without warning. It's crazy, wrong, and embarrassing after the fact. I've been hospitalized before and been on several different medications. And medication's not going to help this. Medication's not helping this. This is borderline personality disorder at this point. I'm sorry, that's what it is. With all the histrionic overtones. I went to a psychiatrist when I was 17, and he said I had borderline personality disorder. Yeah, no kidding. But later in my early 30s, I was re-diagnosed as having bipolar depression. Sounds more like borderline personality disorder. Because you know what you're doing when you're doing it. The father of my twin girls committed suicide on February 1st, 2018. They were 13 at the time, now almost 15. He wasn't with us, thank God. He shot himself in the head in the front yard of his wife's house. There was no money to bury him, and he laid on a cold slab for a month, decomposing until someone came up with money to give him a proper service. The whole ordeal ripped my heart out. He was also abusive, but this was the worst thing he had ever done. To who? To you? Because blowing his brains out is probably the worst thing he ever did to himself. I understand he was abusive, and it's not surprising based on your history and your past. But he blew his brains out. And you think he did that to be abusive to you? Or his ex-wife, or his wife he was with? Or your daughters? My girls have to carry this for the rest of their life. The bastard. Do you think he did it to hurt your daughters? I understand, yeah, they're going to have to live with that their dad was so sad or so upset that he killed himself. That's a horrible thing. This did not help my mental state. How do you think it helped? What did it do for his? And it really set the family back while enduring this tragedy. It still hurts. I'm sure it does. And I'm sure it is a tragedy. And it will hurt your daughters. But you were divorced from them. It's still their father. I just recently had a histrionic episode earlier today. By scraping everything off the surfaces in the house and declaring it was all going to the burn pit out back. Why do you even have a burn pit? Shouldn't even have a burn pit. I don't want to behave this way. I had a psychologist, but we lost health insurance when my husband got fired for being accused of watching child porn on the fire chief's computer, which was fucking ridiculous. That county is really dirty to work for, and they do whatever they want. The police and fire departments have each other's back and act like they're still in high school. I'm sorry, this is getting too long, so I'll end it here. Wait a minute. Okay. Your ex-husband killed himself last February. Okay, you're already remarried. So now this is not helping. Your ex-husband's not helping. I understand it's still the father of your children. Okay, but what kind of state is that having on your marriage? And now you're telling me your current husband was fired improperly, that he didn't do it, from a civil service job of a firefighter for looking at child. You don't get fired from civil service jobs without cause. Cops kill people. Police brutality, they get charged, they don't get fired. Okay? You're not firing somebody for this without proof. And the fact that you were molested, your mother married a man, your father was a man 30 years older than your mother. Then your mother leaves him for a drunk alcoholic who ends up molesting you the entire time. She's making excuses for him. And now your current husband, your ex-husband kills himself. And your current husband's fired for watching child pornography. You don't see you're repeating all the same patterns that your family's been repeating? And all the while you're having these histrionic breakdowns with fire, and your husband was a firefighter. No connection there. Tells me it's not borderline personality disorder. It tells me that you're lighting fires thinking he can put them out. That you're not really trying to burn anything. You're just trying to get a reaction out of people. That you're just having a histrionic fit, which you can absolutely control. To the point where your mommy's going to have a breakdown, so here comes grandma. I mean, what are you doing to your children? After their father already fucking killed themselves, this is the shit you pull? This story about the child porn on the fire chief, like that's that I know there's a real problem here. And you're like, oh, you just kind of breathe past it. No. You don't get fired for civil service jobs without real cause, and it takes years. So unless he was a probationary firefighter, if he's working for the county, he's in a union. And it don't matter if the police and fire departments have each other's back. It's unions. Same thing that happened to you. You don't see you're attracted to the same thing that your mother was? And you got teenage girls around this guy, right? Their father killed himself. You got teenage girls around a guy who was just fired for watching child porn on a fire chief's computer. And you were molested by some... Thank you so much, Ali, for anything you have to say. I know you'll call me out if needed. I have so many other stories, and I know some of it may not make sense as I try to condense it as much as possible. I just don't know what to do anymore, and I'm honestly afraid of what you might say. But I already know you won't hold back, and that in itself is invaluable. Thank you, Miri. Miri, you need to get control of your life. You need to get control of your emotions. Okay? You need to deal with your mother. You need to deal with this abuse that you went in your past, because all you're doing is repeating the same pattern. And I am terrified for your daughters at this point. Terrified for your daughters. and I would make goddamn sure nothing has happened with your new husband with your girls. Remember, this started with her mother being loving and she's been kind and supportive my entire life. Well, you have a fucked up definition of kind and supportive, Miri. Okay? The best advice I could give you is because it seems like you're kind of dabbling in honesty here. Okay? You need to go full honest with your past, with your relationships, about your husband, about your current husband, and what's going on with your behavior. The fire, the burning pit. It's all histrionics. It's all histrionics being driven by entitlement at this point. Entitlement and anger. That's the best advice I can give you. So, I hope that helps. Thank you to Treasure Travel for sponsoring. Thank you, Miri, for writing in. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, a narcissist you'd like to expose, you'd like to set up Skype or a phone call, or have a private video made, or you'd like to sponsor a video like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or just make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it supported, growing, and successful, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you. Without you guys, all of this goes away. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been the Narcissistic Resistance.